Doing really well here, Neil, and you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. And today's topic is going to be morning sickness in pregnancy. Does nausea associated with pregnancy always occur in the morning?
No, Neil, it doesn't. It can occur any time of the day, and it's very dependent on being low on blood sugar.
When does morning sickness start?
Well, it can start as early as 6 weeks, but it usually ends at the end of the first trimester or beginning of the third, or the second rather. So 13 to 15 weeks, it should be ending. 70% of women have nausea associated with pregnancy, morning sickness. But if you have nausea after 15 weeks, you need to think in terms of gallbladder, pancreatitis, or hyperemesis. Something else is going on.
When is morning sickness most likely to be severe?
Well, around 8 to 10 weeks would be the worst time for most moms.
What are the symptoms of morning sickness?
Nausea, loss of appetite, vomiting, heartburn, reflux, seasickness or motion sickness is a big one, and that probably comes as a surprise. Some women say it's like having something stuck in their throat, and some women have hunger pangs.
What causes morning sickness?
Well, it's not completely known or understood, but in my experience, it has a lot to do with low blood sugar, pregnancy hormones like HCG, that's human chorionic gonadotropin, low blood pressure, and motion sickness.
Why do women have so much trouble with their blood sugar when they're pregnant?
Well, it's got to do with the fact that most of the nutrition, or a lot of nutrition, is shunted to the baby first. So blood sugar in the first 20 weeks or the first half of pregnancy is usually low. And so you'll need to have the well-balanced diet, including sugars, starches, that they supply immediate, fast-acting blood sugar, while fat and proteins promote longer lasting blood sugar levels and help prevent nausea.
What is the point of paying so much attention to your blood sugar level?
Well, like I said, nutrition goes to the baby first. If you eat only starches, you'll have a blast of blood sugar, and then your pancreas will see that and send out a blast of insulin, and then you'll wind up with rebound low blood sugar. That's when you'll have the nausea. Yes, that
What makes morning sickness worse?
well, morning sickness is worse when you have their common causes like not eating enough, not drinking enough, not eating at the right time, taking a shower before you eat, and probably one of the biggest problems is eating in the car because of the motion sickness.
What is hypermesis gravidarum?
Hyperemesis gravidarum is an extreme um, version of the nausea associated with pregnancy. If you have that, and again, we talked about this above, if you have nausea after 15 weeks, you have to think of other things. But one of the first things would be hyperemesis gravidarum, and you would want to think in terms of thyroid. So TSH, free T3, free T4.
What are some symptoms associated with hypermesis gravidarum?
Well, hyperemesis gravidarum is associated with, of course, a lot of nausea and vomiting, weight loss, dark colored urine because of dehydration, dizziness when standing, again because of dehydration, and then weight loss, often associated with 10 pounds or more. Of course, many women will lose some weight in the beginning of pregnancy.
What is the treatment for hypermesis gravidarum?
Well, a really effective treatment for the most part, once again, once you rule out thyroid abnormalities, would be IV hydration.
When should I get IV for rehydration?
Well, again, it's if you have hyperemesis gravidarum or anytime you have a morning sickness, which prevents you from eating. Nausea, low blood pressure promotes nausea, nausea and not eating promote, and being dehydrated promote vomiting. So it's really a little squirrel cage of symptoms here. So you'll feel dizzy, weak when you stand up. You need rehydration.
What is the best fluid for IV rehydration?
Well, IV means in the vein, and there are several options. There's saline, which is salt water. There's sugar in water, which is dextrose, D5W. And there's lactated ringers, which contain sodium chloride, potassium, calcium, lactate, and is considered the most aggressive fluid replacement. You can give between 1 and 2 liters. I like um, lactated ringers with glucose in it because that fixes everything. When you're looking at fixing or eliminating the symptoms of hyperemesis, you have to think of three things. One is volume replacement. The next is electrolytes, the salt and the potassium and the calcium. And the third is sugar replacement. So you want to really raise the blood sugar. So I would say that IV rehydration takes 2 to 3 hours, but you should feel better when you go home.
Can medications be given at the time of IV hydration to help treat or prevent nausea and vomiting?
Yes, absolutely. IV is a wonderful time to give the fluids and the medications. For example, B6, pyridoxine given IV. You can also take it at home when you go home. And then there's doxylamine, which is Sominex. So you certainly, and of course, you can take Benadryl, and Benadryl 25 milligrams would probably put most people to sleep, but maybe when you wake up, you'll feel a lot better.
All right, best place to go is royaldocallen.com and pick up Pregnancy Your Way, available today on Amazon. Thanks, Doc.